So thanks for being here for this lesson. Today we're going to go over fraction and ratio. So can you tell me what a fraction is?
A fraction is a part of a whole.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really, that's solid. So imagine if you have a pizza with like 4 slices, and then you take one slice out of that, or like you eat one of those. So that's 1 out of 4. So this is a fraction. In a fraction, the one on the top is called a numerator, and the one on the bottom is called denominator. So in the SAT and ACT, they would want you to simplify it, add, subtract, and then multiply and divide it. So I'm going to go over what you want to do with that. So with simplify a fraction, for example, let's say you have 6 out of 12. To simplify, it means that you find the smallest numbers that can represent these, and it should be like a whole number, so like 1, not 1.5 kind of thing. And because 6 and 12 can both be divided by 6, so you can simplify it by 6 divided by 6 is 1, and then 12 divided by 6 is 2. So pretty much just make it as small as you can. That's simplify. They're the same thing, but if the exam asks you to simplify it, go for it. Next thing is adding and subtracting. So for example, go back to the pizza, right? You ate 1 slice, you're hungry, you want to eat like 2 more. So now you go from 1 out of 4 as the fraction, and you add 2 out of 4 as a fraction. So overall, you get 3 out of 4. So basically, same denominator, but different numerators. You add that to make the final answer. Now in case, it doesn't matter what the numerators are, but the denominators should always be the same. So in case that they're different, for example, like 1 out of 3 plus 1 out of 4, you want the denominators to be the same. So you can use the bow tie method, which is this, and then the 2 bottom. What that means is you want to multiply the fraction so that these two shares the same denominator. So 3 and 4 shares the denominator of, or share the same, like they both can be divided by 12, or like they multiply together and make 12. So you pretty much take 4 multiplied by 1, you get 4. 4 multiplied by 3, you get 12. So essentially it's like simplify, but the other way around, right? And then plus 3 multiplied by 1, so you get 3, multiply 4, you get 12. So now you have the same denominator, which is 12, and you have 4 plus 3 equals 7 out of 12. Same thing for subtracting, just make it the same denominator and then subtract the numerators. For multiply and divide, it's a little bit different. So let's go with 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 4 again. Multiply, you pretty much just multiply all the numerators and the denominators. So 1 times 1 and 3 times 4, which would give you 1 out of 12. Same principle for divide. If this is a divide, then you essentially would want to flip the other fraction around. So that'll be 1 out of 3, still the same, multiply by 4 out of 1. So yeah, it's just pretty straightforward. You just flip the second fraction around, and then you turn the divide into a multiply. So 1 multiplied by 4 equals 4, and then 3 at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. And the next thing on the agenda is ratio. So fraction is like this much of a whole, whereas ratio is like this much compared to this much. So for example, if I have like 2 dogs this is a fraction. For every 2 dogs, I have 3 cats. So, you know, if the exams say that the fraction for dogs and cats is 2 out of 3, and you know that I have like 10 dogs, what is the number of cats? Can you solve this?
15 cats.
15? Yeah, and how did you come up with that?
I divided 10 by 2 and then multiplied 3 by 5.
Gotcha. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and yeah, same thing, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So essentially you want to use the bow tie method again, just so that, you know, this multiplied by this equals to this multiplied by this. So to put that into context, you know, this was a question mark earlier, so question mark times 2 equals 10 times 3. So this is 30, still 2, 30 divided by 2 is 15. So there's your answer. So yeah, that should cover pretty much fraction and ratio in your SAT and ACT.